Hello everyone and welcome to Trending in My Life. This week it's podcast 112 and the title is Life Rant. Now normally I'm a very positive person, but like all of us there are things that bug me a lot during my life. And I thought I'd talk about some of them, and please share in the comments any things that bug you. Yesterday I was stood in a line waiting to buy a lotto ticket, and as always when it's the evening when lotto takes place, wherever you go to buy your lotto ticket there will be a longish queue, and a guy comes up behind me, too close behind me as far as I was concerned, and he was a huffer. And I'm thinking to myself, yes, we're all waiting in this line and it's deeply irritating to all of us, but we're not being a huffer. We're not making it worse for the person in front, that being me, and the people around as well, because they're in the queue and they might be trying to stay calm or listening to some music, and then they're interrupted by this big huffing sound coming from someone. And I was considering it in my head and thought, I just want him to go away. So do I say to him, oh, you're clearly in a hurry, you go before me? And then I thought, no, why should I? I've waited my turn nice and politely, and why should you go in front of me just because you're being annoying? That sends a message that if you're annoying and irritating, then you get your way and you get pushed forward in the queue. So I didn't. I made him wait. And I'm like, what? How can you go into this situation and not know you're going to have to wait? Because there was no way for the timing that he was in the shop to get his ticket, if that's what he was after. He could have been after cigarettes or alcohol, because they're also sold behind the counter. But it was like, honestly, just get a grip. That's what I was thinking. So yes, people who make it uncomfortable for everyone when they're stood in line, they drive me nuts. So how about you? Does something like that annoy you? Now the next one is something that I've thought for years, and I think it's a generational thing. When I was a kid and a teenager and then a young adult, it was just general practice. Everybody did this. When you're walking down the street and there's somebody coming the other way, you drop back behind the person that you're walking with. You don't continue walking side by side, blocking the whole path so that they can't get through. It's the sort of drop back principle, and it was just polite, and we were taught it right from a kid. But these days that doesn't happen, and it really bugs me. You'll walk down a street and you'll get like 3 friends walking towards you, chatting away, and it's not like they haven't noticed you, and you're walking towards them and thinking, well, move over. Well, go on, move over a bit. Where am I supposed to go? Do you expect me to walk in the road? That's how my mind is racing. And eventually one of them sort of drops half back so that you're still squeezing into a half person's space to get past. And sometimes you'll have a family all walking side by side, 2 parents, 2 children, all holding hands, completely blocking the footpath. And if you want to get past them, you have to, if you're walking behind them, you're going to have to go in the road to get past them. And if you're coming the other way, as I nearly always seem to be, then you're in the situation again where you're like, well, drop hands, or, scooch over, and they keep coming towards you. And when I have that happen to me, I just stand stock still, and I'm like, I am not walking in the road, so you're either going to have to go through me or you're going to have to move over. And at the very last minute they do move slightly over, but they make you feel like you're the nuisance and you're being unreasonable, when the footpath is for everybody. And just budge up a bit when someone's trying to come the other way. They're past you in seconds, so it's not a big deal. That's something that over the years it just doesn't seem to exist now, that people are polite enough to move out of your way. They seem to think that they own the footpath, and that it's their right to walk along it. And I think, well, why do I have less right? Why am I so lowly that you think I should be walking in the road and risking being run over just so that you can all walk side by side? And it's like they think they're so far above me that I don't count, and I should just scuttle in the road and go past them. Okay, so as you can tell, that's one of my big bugs that really gets me. When you have someone come into your house to repair something, and they say to you, I'll be there at 9:30, and you'll say to them, well, I'm taking some time off work to be here, so if you can be on time. And then it gets to 9:30 and they're not here, and they have your phone number and they haven't rung you, so you start making excuses for them. You're standing by the window and you're looking out and you're thinking, oh, maybe traffic's bad, maybe it's unavoidable, maybe there's been an accident and a diversion, and so you keep pacing and waiting, and then it gets to 9:50 and you think, I really want to phone and say, where are you? And you're late. But that'll just put their backs up. And that when they do get here, they'll say they can't fix it, or they'll have to come back another day. And so you're torn between, you feel like you deserve an explanation. You feel like they should have turned up on time. But at the same time, that you'll do a lot of damage if you actually voice those thoughts. So you wait and you pace up and down and you look out the window, and eventually, an hour late, workman arrives, smiling, good morning, and no apology, acting like he's perfectly on time. And then within 10 minutes of being here, he's eyeing up the kettle and asking if that's broken and needs fixing as well. In other words, he wants a tea or a coffee. And I'm thinking, you are an hour late and you want me to be nice? And you know what? You have to make the tea or coffee because you want the job done. And if you're nice, then maybe he'll get on with it a little bit quicker. And maybe you'll be able to get him out the door and everything will be fine and fixed. And so you bottle up your rant and you'll be stood there seething and making polite conversation about the weather and oh, isn't that interesting and stuff, and it's not how you feel at all. It really isn't. So yeah, that's another one of my big rants. I've noticed lately on my commute, I head into Victoria from South London, and as soon as you cross the river, as soon as the train goes across the Thames, people start to stand up and stand in front of the door. So there's a line of people waiting to get out the door. And so, people can be stood there 5-10 minutes before the train stops. And then there's people that have seats near the door but haven't bothered to get up. Well, get up and stand right sort of at your elbow, expecting you to let them in the line. You've stood there 10 minutes so that you could get off that train because you've got the tube to catch or whatever, or a bus, and you're in a hurry. You need to get where you got to go. And I'm like, you got to sit down all that way while I was stood up, and now you expect to push in this line just to get off the train. And I sort of edged closer to the person's back in front, so there isn't an inch of space for them to shove themselves in. And I'm like, or I'll have my arm holding the edge of the seat, so that it creates a barrier for them where I'm lined up. yeah, that's another one that annoys me. I mean, of course, there's a lot of things about commuting that can make you feel stressed and ranty. Anyway, if you have something that bugs you, something you want to rant about, please put it in the comments. If you enjoyed this podcast, please like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend, and come back next time. Bye for now.